So you must be able to hear me, I think. Good morning, afternoon, Steelers. If you're watching, let's just see. I'll see if I'm actually live or not. I just thought I'd do something interesting this afternoon. Quick pop-up for you all. You can watch this at some point in the future, I'm sure, if you're not watching it right now. I'm not sure how many people are watching at the moment, but let's just see what happens. I just wanted to basically just do put together a table that my friends are coming around tomorrow, so I just want to basically set up a table, and I'm going to show you how I'm setting that table up. So this is what we're doing at the moment. If you're out there in streaming land, if you can hear me, is the other thing. I'm just quickly setting this stuff up first of all. It looks like my mic is working, so if you are out there, do say hello, and I'll return to the chat when I can, but obviously since I'm setting up a table, I'm going to be a little bit busy elsewhere. But this is for a game of Chain of Command. So first things first is we are laying out our cloth. This is my cloth from Tiny Wargames. So nice grass cloth. Tomorrow we're playing a game of, well, I mean, initially I said it was going to be Americans versus Germans. However, I think I might change that and do it British versus Germans. So we're doing 1944, slightly different to something set in Normandy, I think. With a little bit of some buildings and stuff, and just some bits and pieces. It's going to be a patrol, because I want to show my mates basically how you play Chain of Command, because one of them's never played it, despite me playing it tons. He's never played it, so I want to show him how to play it, and that's what tomorrow is all about. So they're going to come round in the morning, and I'm going to umpire it, which will be interesting. Much umpiring, to be honest. Right, so first of all, I'm just getting out my kit here. I'm afraid there may be a bit of a lag on the recording, because this is also an experiment to see if the camera, my new camera, is working, and if I'm able to actually use it up in the loft, in the war room, so to speak. So, bit of an experiment all around. So the first box I've got out here, this is some rural terrain. So lots of little bits and pieces in here, fences and other fences and hedges. Thought going to my head for a second. And there's a little. I use our little war memorial. I think I'll use that. I should really do something with that actually, just make it something different. There's vines in there which I'm not going to use. There's other more urban material in there which I don't want, so I'm going to stick that to one side for now. What I want to do first of all is decide where my roads and rivers are going to go. So this is going to be my main thing here. Do say hello if you are out there. Drop a hello in the chat, please do, if you can hear me. If you can, I'm fairly certain I've got the microphone working. As I say, completely new setup. If I don't, I'm just talking into the void, and then that's my problem, isn't it? Really, I'm just talking to myself while I do this. But getting this put together. Annoyingly, I've got some super glue on this terrain mat. I did that the other day when I was setting up for Bag the Hun. I shouldn't have done it, but I've got a tiny bit of super glue on there, which is a pain, but will live. I can just cover it with other terrain. It's no major problem. Just comes out as little white blobs. It's not particularly noticeable. So quite quickly putting together a little road system just to run through the centre of this. I'm going to make a little village or similar little hamlets or something here, so we've got a bit of urban area to fight over, a little bit of interesting terrain that they can use, so it's not all the same. Let's just get around that other side and lay these out. Now, should we have a river on here as well? I think I might stick a little river on. It's always nice to have a river. Let's just have a look. Last little bits of the road to go on. Because of the small size of chain of command, I'll not be using any roads or anything. I can see there's somebody watching, so like I say, do say hello if you're out there. Right, this nice little bridge will be nice to use here. I think I'm going to stick that in there. It's worthwhile having, and then we can have a little bit of a river just coming off the edge here, just to break up the board a little bit. So we've got that. That's my road laid out, nice and easy. And I'm going to have the river go two ways, I think, split off. So why not? So a little bit of a kink in it there. Take those out, so I'll need those for fields in a second. Let's do the next thing. And let's just see. Question is, do I have enough river to do what I want to do with it? Well, I certainly do there. And there. Finally over here. There we go. That's about right, isn't it? I've got enough. I could make the river smaller, put it down a section down, I think. Let's do that. Instead of there, let's put it here. It gives me a bit more use with the river, I think. I can do a little bit more with it this way. Just makes it neater going up to those edges of the board instead of just stopping halfway across. I think anyway. So how does that look? Again, I'm going to shift it again. Why not? I've got the power to shift the river. I'm put it a little slightly further up though. This time here. I can hear the ice cream man coming around. Don't know if you can hear him on the show. So let's see if this looks a bit better. It kind of blocks off this back end of the table really. Make the players think a little bit about what we want to do down here. If anything, again we're in that same position, so I'm going to solve it by boxing off the river. There we go, sorted. Got the river sorted out and the road sorted out. And next up, it's time to get some buildings in. That's what I want next. So I'll find out my next. Should I set this in Italy? We'll do an Italian one. Yeah, let's go Italian. Why not? With an Italian farm in it. And British and Germans fighting in Italy. I think that's a good idea. I'll do that. Ooh, that sun has got roasting. Just open that window, let a bit of air in so I can breathe. Gives me a chance to use my Italian buildings as well. So that's a good plan, I think. Let's have a look. Anything else I need in there? Should we have a big walled farm around the Italian buildings? Is it particularly Italian? No, I've got some white ones there and I'll use those instead. So what I want to do now is put out the farm itself. As I said, do say hello if you're out there in watching land. So we've got the Italian farmstead itself. So this will provide an interesting, maybe what should we call it, an objective perhaps? Because it's only one, I'm going to turn it into an actual farm as it is. So we'll actually get those vines out, you know. Didn't think I was going to use them, but I will. Put a little building on the other side, a little taverna or something. And we've got the little Italian tower. So now, let's say I've got these nice walls that I can use. Stuccato, what are these stuccato walls when they're daubed in whatever material it is. Can't remember. Let's have a look, see if we can actually fit these around at the moment. Put a fence in at the back as well to allow access. I've got enough walling here. That's the question. It looks like it. A bit of fudging. It's not perfect, but it'll do. It'll do. And we'll do another one on the other side, I think. Let's just have a look. I might set that a little off the road itself. Instead, we've got another little fence there so we can have an entrance. Same again there. Perfect. So now we've got our little courtyarded Italian villa with the what's it called? The taverna next door. So I want to get some vines out now. Let's make it really Italian. I'm turning it into. I'm going to put a little vine vineyard here. That's the word I was looking for. So that's going to provide some nice light cover. I'll put some fences around this. So we've got the front of the house overlooking the vineyard. Nice Italian scene, 1944, and bombs going off everywhere. Life continues as normal for Italian peasants until the Germans and the British arrive. So let's just get these in there. So there we've got some nice few rows of vine leaves, a vine vineyard, and then I'm going to put a nice fence around that. So I've got this MDF fence. Will just then fence off that area. I just want to add a little bit of flavour to the table. All this stuff is dead easy to buy, well dead cheap to buy. It has to be for me to buy it, and just really sets off the table. Just a tiny bit of thought on scenery, and it's all good. Doesn't take a great deal really, just to add a a little extra dimension. People that are playing. Hey there, Bjorn, how are you doing? Good to see you. Can you hear me is the question I'm asking. Bjorn, tell me if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, then say you can't hear me. But I've also got these telegraph poles, which really add a nice air of civility to things. So I'll stick those in here. Also, we can hear you fine. Oh, good stuff. Cheers, man. I just didn't know, because this is a new setup on this new computer. I tested it earlier and it was working, but I wasn't sure if it was working again. So I'm just adding in some poles here. These always add a nice 1940s style aesthetic to things, I think. Again, you don't need a great deal of stuff. These cost me very little money from Sabotage, 3D printed, and I've just got a ton of them, and it just adds a little extra nuance to the game. It's lovely. So it's just right. So I've got my vines. I've got those. Done me those fences. I'm going to hold on to those because I want to do some fields. I'm also going to put some woods down as well. So I think that's going to be the next thing. Well, if I work out where the fields are going to go first, and then I can work out where the rest are. I'm going to put a little war memorial in the centre here, just to break up that bit of that road. Yes, might be a low volume, but it works. Okay, well, you'll have to turn up your volume. It's because I've got my microphone quite far away. It's the closest I can get it, I'm afraid. You just have to turn up your volume on the computer. Oh, let's have a look. So now I'm getting the other stuff from under the table. Just this game isn't going to get filmed, I thought, well, at least I may as well film the setup of it and nothing else. So these are my fields. A couple of wheat fields out. Let's have one out here. Stick a little bit out there, and a couple more around the main compound as well. So we're not just reliant on vines. There we go, and another one on there, and I'll cover up that super glue mark. And I'm going to put a couple of ploughed fields in because I want to get these can be used as a light cover in the game. So I'm just going to spread out some ploughed fields behind this tiny villa, here and here. We're not finished yet, not by a long stretch. We're getting there. So there you go, that's a harvested field. Right. Okay, next up is, I want to put down some trees, but what I want to really kind of just lay the trees out, lay out the areas where I want the trees first of all. I'll fill them in a second, because I want to put down other bits and pieces of detail first of all. So let me just shift that box out of the way. So I use these MDF bases for trees. So basically there's no arguments as to where the wood starts and where the wood stops. And I want plenty of cover because it's chain of command. We're going to need cover for our jumping off points. So I want to get as much in as possible as I can. Some there. I've got a feeling a lot with chain of command, you generally the game generally falls down onto about a 4x4 square on the table itself. So I'm assuming it's probably going to, most of the fighting is going to end up around in this centre. However, that said, hey there gents, looks like a great board you're building, thank you, take care, and I'm looking forward to your next game. Thank you very much. This one's not going to be filmed, gents, this one's just for me and my mates tomorrow. I would like to film it, but one of my friends doesn't want to appear on camera, so I've got to respect that really, and not go down that route. Right, so I've already got a load of fences on the table, but I want more fences because I want to put some smallish obstacles here and there. So I'm going to line these roads with fences and hedges, so they're quite difficult to see over. I've also got some bocage hedges as well, which I might use. Let's just see how we go. We'll fill these in first of all with fencing. And again, this is the tricky stuff, but you know, it ends up making the board look pretty good at the end of the day, if I do say so myself. That's what I'm trying for. Let me see if I can move I'll move the microphone closer to me while I'm over here. Maybe that's better. Maybe you can hear me better there. Lance King. Lance, no, I'm not playing today. This is setting up for tomorrow. I'm playing a game with my mates tomorrow. I'm teaching one of them how to play Chain of Command. The other one's already played it, but I'm going to umpire it for the two of them. So it's just a setup for that tomorrow. But because we're doing that, I just thought let's make a nice board, because I think, to be honest, a lot of this stuff I've got together during the pandemic, so they've not actually seen a lot of this stuff. I don't think so. It might be quite a nice surprise for them, unless of course they watched the video before, but we'll see. I don't know if they ever watch my videos or not, but we'll see. If it should be a good game. I'm going to pit the British against Germans in Italy, so again something slightly different to the normal stuff for a nice introductory game. Where are we at? Playing my first game of Chain of Command later today. Excellent. Watch my 4-part series. Excellent, good stuff. I hope it helps. It's a nuanced set of rules, so take it slow, because there's a lot of layers to it that you don't think are apparent when you first play it. I found anyway. It's a game that really grows as you get to know the system itself. It's all about using your leaders properly. Okay, so there's some fencing up to that point. Let's have a little look at what else we can fit on here. So I want to get some of these tiny details and stuff in now before I start putting the trees and things down. So I'll put in some fencing for these. I'm also going to put some animals on the table as well. I'll do that in a second. Once I've got some of this fencing in as well. Leave gaps for people to get through, of course. And these are nice fences from they came from Ironclad, I think. And I'll set some more around the other field as well there to stop the cows getting in, of course. So really this video, I suppose, is really just to show you the processes that I go through for putting a board together when I'm playing a game. This is how I would do it when I'm playing solo or when I'm gaming at home. It's just a bit of a different kind of stream, I guess, isn't it? It's not just painting. And stick that in there just to fill that space in. Let's use all those up, most of them anyway. What else are we saying over here? I'm very good on COG. Thank you again. Good choice to watch these videos, thank you. I'll tell you what, I want to make a little animal briar as well, because I want to have a couple of animals on that farm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick another little fence in here next to that barn, and I'm going to put some sheep or something in there as well. So this little farmstead's got some livestock as well as agricultural stuff. Let's just sort those bits out there. How long has it been taking me to do this so far? I can't see where my long it's been going on for. Well, I see it. 25 minutes so far, so that's not a bad setup time, is it? I've still got some more to do. Don't worry. Not finished yet. I've got plenty more to do, in fact. Where did I put those? Aha. Hedges. Here we are. There's the hedges. So I'm now going to line the rest of this road with hedges. Obviously this is not bocage, it's just hedgerow. But you get hedgerow everywhere in Europe, so it's ubiquitous. And I want to break up as much of the terrain as possible, so it's not just a case of being able to advance where they want. It's going to take a little while to get across this table when they're gaming. That's the plan. I want to break up their plans as much as possible. As I say, I've got a feeling that most of the fighting in this game is going to get somewhere in this centre here. Almost making this villa into an objective. It's just going to be a patrol game though, with no particular objective apart from a contact patrol. And we'll see. But I'm going to let them do everything so they can go through all the force support options. But this might be difficult because one of my friends doesn't like making decisions, so we'll see how we go. I might have to suggest a few things for him. Alright, I think that's enough of those. I'll put some more hedges around these fields here as well, just once again to fence that stuff off so it's not easy for them to be moving around. That's the plan. I need to make shorter ones of these really. Some of these are a bit too short. We'll see. Tell you what, if I box it off like this instead, do a little cheat, and then there's a patch of fallow ground there, isn't there? There we go. That works. Can I just thinking if I can make another smaller yeah, if I do that, then I've got another little animal pasture there as well. So again, we're just breaking up the shape of the table as much as possible. Let's have a look, what else is everyone saying? Find that putting the terrain on an angle instead of square against the edges adds a bit to the board, also removes that everything is square look. What's important with chalk and its setup rules? True. Setup zones is like there. Afternoon, Steve. Good to see you. Good to see you on board. Yeah, you got me thinking now about changing it all, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it as it is. I've got the road is it's an angle, so that's fine for me. And so that's all then done. So now I'm going to pull my animals and things out. They're in here somewhere. There they are. I've got them. So we're going to have these next. This is just a bunch of wee animals. I'm going to put some sheep in over here, I think. Because why not? There's a few sheep. Some of those may end up dead. Who knows? I've also got milk churns, bicycles, barrels, all sorts of stuff just to flesh out the table here as well. And let's put a dog in. Dogs are always fun. Some chickens and geese. Just got to have chickens and geese around the farm. And a couple of goats, why not? Italian mountain goats. Up in the hills. Let's just have a saying? I like the amounts of terrain. Worst thing is playing games on what's essentially an airfield. Yeah, absolutely. Especially with something like Chain of Command, you really need to break up the table as much as possible. You need zones that you can move around in and use cover. That's always sometimes a problem with things like Chain of Command. There you go. There's some barrels in there in the front of that. We'll put another. Wouldn't be the Second World War without bicycles. There you go. A little bicycle against the taverna. Do I need to put anything else in there? I don't think I do. I've got some goats and some sheep and all the other oddments. I will need these, but I'll take those out tomorrow. That's just my jumping off points. Stick those to one side now. So, any more chats coming in? If you're online, hit it up, hit a like up if you're enjoying the video. Give me a dislike if you're not enjoying it. Either or, don't mind. Just, you know, give it a little tick. A couple of things here. I'm just going to put down some swamp on this end as well, against where the river is a bit, where it turns off there. A little bit of a flooded area, perhaps. Just something to break it up a wee bit. Again, just to slow down movements, make people think twice about going in there. Alright, so that is getting close. Still got a little bit more to do. We are getting close. Just put these figures over here. And then that's my way. And those. And these here. Then next up is the trees. This is my big box of trees. Quick, let some air in up here. Evening, friends of General Haig. Good to have you on board. We're just setting up a game for Chain of Command for tomorrow for me and my mates. Right, so this is the tree section. So now this is where I'm just going to fill in those forest areas or the wooded areas, and also probably just add a few trees here and there. Just put these in randomly, left, right and centre. I'll also fill in some spaces with trees as well, because trees don't just grow in forests, as we all know. I've got these longish tall ones that look like Italian kind of trees that sometimes line the roads. I'm using those. I've got something else as well I'm going to add, just to break up the ground a little bit more. A few more bits and pieces here and there. I usually like to put the bigger trees in the forest areas and the smaller ones on the board itself, just around and about. And I base them individually so you can just move them really. So when you've got figures in there, it's a lot easier than having a board with figures with trees that are fixed in. I find just for literally for gaming purposes, nothing else. So a few more, a couple more in this back one here. Close to them, we'll grab a few more of those. They can go in the actual farm itself, again to make it look very Italiano. And the other thing I wanted to add was these things, patches of grass, long grass or tufts. Here we are, I forgot about this one. Stick these in here. A few more trees won't hurt. Nearly there. One or two more. Just need a couple more, I think. One more here. Let's have a look. There we go. So now it's looking a lot fuller than it was even 5 minutes ago, because we just added those trees. So I just want to put a couple more extras in here and there, just to break up the shape of the place. And you know, there's usually trees in farmyards and things, isn't there? So there's a couple of trees in there, make it look interesting. Some down those roadsides. Up in the loft, it's either too hot or just too cold with the window open. Let's give the goats a tree as well. They can have a little tree. And one more tree. Stick that there. Now let's go mad with trees. Stick a few more around. There's a couple over there that I need to put in here. One or two there. That's fine, I think. We're all right with them. What's everybody saying? What corner would everyone want to set up in? I think I would choose the one to the right in the picture, with the trees or near the buildings. Good point with the angle. Yes. Yes, I do forget to set stuff up on an angle because it is a bit more interesting. I just think about what's going to go in the centre really to be the main focus. So I just do forget about it. Let's say this is probably the last little bit of it now. Where I'm just going to get these. These are 2mm forests, but I use them in 15mm patches of grass and scrub. Hard going. Let's get those out of the way. And I'll just, like I said, basically literally just put these everywhere and anywhere, just to fill in spaces. Whether they are going to be something that happens, something that is useful in the game, like rough terrain or something, I don't know yet. I'll decide as the game plays. Just want to, of course, you know, nature gets everywhere, things grow all over the place. So any chance it gets, it will grow. So that's taken me what, about 40 minutes or so to set that up. There's a reasonably decent table, just quickly thrown some stuff together with no particular idea as to what will happen in the game itself. I don't really want to be directing anybody towards stuff, but as I say, I think most of the fighting is probably going to be centred around this central point here. I'll be surprised if it isn't. I'd be interested if the game just ends up a little fight down here on the swamp and this is all ignored. But either way, it'll still look good, and that's the main point. It's about how it looks, not how it plays. It's the game's narrative. Right, a couple more bits there, and I think that I'm pleased with that. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I want to add to it. I don't think there is. I think I'm all right with that. There's plenty of cover for the jumping off points to get behind. Let's have a look. A nice wobbly tree just where my opponent is setting up is always a nice true. That is true. That is true. You like the 2mm forest? Add something to the empty spaces. Yeah, they're literally just mounted on plastic card, and it's just what's it called? Clump foliage, absolutely soaked in PVA and then left to dry for about a week. Will the French win this one too? As they should in all war games. Well, I'm sure there was 3 French forces down in Italy, Miles. So yes, maybe they might make it an appearance. You never know. Well, I do know. No, they're not going to be here, even if the French 3 forces were there. Right. So what I'll do is I'll just do a bird's eye view of this table, and I think that I'm done with it. Has that been an interesting video for people? That's the question. So I'll just take you through the table, because you might not have been able to see everything in the angle it was at. So you can see this is it from the other side. This bit I thought was a little bit bare, so I just put a couple of extra trees in with some clump foliage as well. Then we've got the little villa itself and its attendant taverna, and some fields, and then coming over here to where the roads and the rivers are, and the swamp, another little clump of trees as well. So for chain of command, that is perfect. There is plenty of manoeuvrability for the players there. I think it should be an interesting one with setting up the jumping off points. As I say, it's going to be a patrol scenario, so they're just going to start on the edges and move in and set up from there. No French, no, of course there's no French. Very interesting. At least it got me chatting, which isn't hard. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Alright, well, I'm going to sign off. As I say, this was basically an experiment to see if I could stream with the new camera from upstairs, and it looks like I can. So that's going to change things quite a lot. And I guess follow me on Twitter, and you'll probably see how this game turned out. I'll post pictures of it. You never know, I might video it. I'll ask the lads tomorrow. I'll see if I can. I might turn it into a quick strike video, in fact, for Little Wars, if I just do some bits and pieces of the footage. We shall see. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have enjoyed it, obviously, if you haven't, wait, I just arrived. Do apologise. I'm very sorry. You'll have to watch the replay. I am so sorry. There's not much else I can do. You'll please, subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure most people watching have already, but if you haven't, do share this video and look out for more live streams. I also have there is another video coming out tomorrow, a short practice game. It was going to come out today, but I thought I'll do a live stream instead, so look out for that as well. And stay cool, Steelers, and we shall talk to you later.